అందరికీ నమస్కారం. Welcome to live interactive webinars streaming on YouTube and Facebook official channels of SCRT Andhra Pradesh. మీ అందరికీ స్వాగతం. సో క్లాప్ టు స్పోకెన్ ఇంగ్లీష్ ఫర్ టీచర్ సిరీస్కి వీక్షకులందరికీ ప్రత్యేకమైనటువంటి అభినందనలు చెప్తూ శుభోదయం తెలియజే. ఈరోజు మూడవ రోజు. టుడే ఈస్ డే 3. సో విత్ అస్ as a resource person, Dr. K. N. Shobha Garu from Chennai University is with us. So, Namaste, madam. Welcome to day 3 webinars. And also, we have Pokuri Srinivas Garu for today's program. I request Pokuri Srinivas Garu to introduce resource person.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome, Andhra Pradesh. So we have here Shobha K.N., doctor. We all know her. Teacher, researcher, and a teacher educator, currently working as assistant professor of English at Anna University, and a master's in education and a gold medalist. She has been a member of a content development team of the language integrating learning textbooks for Tamil Nadu. Now I can say that as well as with Andhra Pradesh. She's a trainer cum consultant for research connect programs of British Council and runs workshops for teachers and teacher education. Well, such a great madam is with us for this session. Madam, we heartily welcome. Please start your session.
Thank you. Andharakum namaskaram. Good morning, Andhra Pradesh. So here we are again on day 3 of our CLEP training program. And I'm very happy to meet you all again. So we have started the spoken English program, and then in the introductory session, I told you what are some of the things that we will be doing during the session. We saw the objectives, the topics that are going to be covered, the principles of learning that we will be adapting. So when we have covered all this, yesterday we had Suman Bandi Garu from RI Bangalore. So he was talking about the basics of a spoken discourse. All the terms that he had used, they were metalinguistic. I had already explained the term metalinguistic. What is metalinguistic? About the language. So as teachers, we have already learned the language. We know how language works. That is why it was just a refreshing of all your knowledge about the language before you start full-fledged on the spoken English course itself. So what do we have today? In order to understand spoken English or to master spoken English, the first thing that we are expected to do is to listen. Only when we listen, we will be able to reproduce the sound. This is no new information. All of us know that. Only when you keep listening more and more, you will be able to deliver. And we are not just going to talk about listening. We are going to talk about active listening. I know that all of you are very actively listening. And when you're listening, what are some of the processes that are happening inside the brain? Because we think listening is just one single activity. Actually, it is not. The brain processes, the brain is very active when you listen to music. You would have seen in movies and documentaries how after listening to music, a person heals, plants grow. So listening is a very powerful process that happens, but most of the time we say, okay, listening, what is the big thing about listening? Speaking is important, reading is important. So from next week onwards, when we are going to start all the sounds of English, the other things that are required, vocabulary, all the language functions, before we launch into all that, let us understand how we should listen. Now, say for example, if I don't tell you what are the important strategies that you have to adopt in listening for the entire coming month, then the program's full effect will not reach us. Okay, so with these introductory words, let me start sharing my screen. I think you can see the PowerPoint now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm just moving this here up and great. So, title of the PowerPoint is Active Listening for Better Spoken Skills. The contents of today's session are going to be what is active listening, listening as input for speaking, and strategies for listening. So these are going to be the topics that we are going to cover today. Of course, we will also have a question and answer session by the end of the session. We should always remember this. Usually, I use a very nice quotation. Thought we will remind ourselves about the objective. So our goal is not to become native-like. That is definitely not our goal. We are all Indians. We will stay Indians. By native, I mean the speakers of English who have it as their mother tongue. So we have a diverse range of mother tongue. And then Telugu is such a beautiful language. So our goal is not to become native-like, but to understand and to be understood by others. So when we speak, what we are expecting is that they understand what we are speaking, and also we understand what they are trying to say. So let us try and see what is this active listening. But before we go into active listening, we should try and make a basic differentiation between the other term which is usually used with listening. What is the other term? Yes, all of you are right. I know what you just thought. You thought about the word hearing. Yes, hearing is also connected to auditory sounds. But what is the major difference? We have also discussed this in our CLEP phase 1 trainings, the importance of hearing, the importance of listening, the difference. Let us just quickly look at what are the differences between hearing and listening. Look at this picture. So two people are talking. One person is saying something in hearing and the other person is thinking about himself, right? Though the other person is speaking, the attention is not in understanding what the person is trying to say. The intention is you keep thinking about yourself, waiting to give a reply. What can I say next? What will be my reply to this person? That is hearing. But when you're listening, say for example, the person is saying something, I was thinking. Then this person pays attention and inside his head, the image of that person, the idea that he is trying to convey, those are the things that are running inside his head. So in the first picture, hearing, whatever he says is blah, blah, blah. It does not get into your head. It's just hearing. But in the second picture, the person actually enters your head and you're trying to understand. You're trying to empathize. You're trying to critically analyze, right? So this is the difference between hearing and listening. So just, summarizing, when it comes to hearing is very accidental. So we hear the sounds of crows. When we do webinars, we can see how dogs are barking. So all these sounds are involuntary. We have no control. And then it is effortless. Whether you like it or not, you cannot close your ears. Your ears are going to be open always. So it is effortless. There is no effort required. But listening is a very important process and you have to be very focused. You have to be focused. You have to do it voluntarily. Now, many of us, what we do, we switch on the system, the webinar, the lecture is in progress. but then we are switched off inside. Your mobile phones, your screens are all switched on, but mind is switched off. That is voluntary. Okay, so focused hearing is listening, voluntarily hearing is listening, and intentional. You want to listen. Okay, let me try and show you some more pictures. Now look at this particular picture. So now all of you know that doctors are very busy. They are listening to the heart rates, to the pulses of so many people, right? Every day, millions of people are going to them. So now you can see this particular doctor examining the patient. How is the listening there? Can we say, oh, doctor is simply hearing with the stethoscope? No. The listening is very active. Even if there is one rhythm that goes wrong, the doctor has to find out. The doctor finds out that something is wrong. So that listening is active. When we go to doctors, we expect them to be perfect. We expect them to listen to our problems. So this is also an example of active listening. Let us see some more examples. This is a very familiar picture, right? Most of you have learned music. I know Andhra Pradesh teachers sing very beautifully. I have heard all your songs during classroom demonstrations, and my memory, it takes such a very happy note when I do that. So look at this particular setup. As you can see, this is a music classroom, right? So in the music classroom, the teacher is trying to reproduce some kind of a sound, and the children are going to imitate it exactly. If the student is making one mistake, the teacher will definitely find out. You have so many things of raga, thala, shruti. I don't know those terms, but I'm just telling from what I've listened to. That is not in my vocabulary, but from what I've listened to, I'm telling you. So the teacher there is doing active listening. The student also is doing active listening. Can we go to a music class? Can we tell her, can you please sing? I will also sing with you. I will reproduce the sound and let us see whether it is okay. That cannot happen, right? It has to be exactly the same manner as the guru is producing. The listening strategy one employs in a music class is also active listening. You have to focus on the highs, you have to focus on the lows. You simply cannot listen just like that. So here all these beautiful girls are learning music, and this is also an example of active listening. Look at this picture now. Most of us who are mothers, even before our child could say something, we have the capacity to listen, right? Sometimes we don't listen with our ears. We just look at the child and we know. So when the child is growing in the formative years, before the child starts speaking, most of the children, they start speaking at the age of 1.5, 2, 2.5. Speak as in not like us, but at least broken words and sentences. All of them around the child will be confused. What is this child saying? But the mother will say correctly. The mother will say, okay, if he or she is using this tone, then it means it needs this. This is active listening. So when your child is speaking, the amount of focus you give to your child, these days, after they grow up, it is very different. The amount of listening we do and the amount of listening they do, we should not go into that now. So when the child is very small in its how the mother finds out, that is also an example of active listening. So now, why did I show you all these pictures? Because if you want to develop your spoken skills, you are going to try and implement these kind of active listening strategies in the coming weeks. Unless we try and apply these strategies, it is going to become a little difficult. Okay, let us move on. So listen, I remind myself every morning, nothing I say this day will teach me anything. So if I'm going to learn, I must do it only by listening. We cannot argue with this statement. This statement is full of knowledge. It shows how God has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So when we try to listen, that is by speaking all through the day, we don't learn anything, right? So this is a very favorite quotation of mine. And whenever I want to say something, I usually think, and I always feel it is better to listen to the other person, gain more information, and then speak when required. So this is again a quotation that shows the importance of listening. When it comes to communication, when you are communicating, most of the day in 24 hours, like, after the time that we sleep, say for example, we sleep 8 hours. So the 16 hours, the 17 hours that we are awake, most of the time, 70% of the time we are communicating something or the other. And that communicating, 45% is listening. It is only 9% that we write, reading 16%, and speaking 30%. But listening is what mostly. That is why listening should be prioritized. Okay, I have brought some Chinese script. It is called a Chinese kanji. Now, what are these symbols signifying? As you can see, it is a Chinese character. You know that the Chinese language has mostly pictorial characters, right? It's a very iconic language. It's a symbolic language. And you can see how the verb to listen, this is the picture of the verb to listen. You can see it is a combination of so many other pictures or other words. What are the words that are inside the words to listen? If you are going to listen, definitely you need the ear, right? So you need your ear first of all. Then you also need your eyes. If you look at me, I am looking into the computer's camera lens, right? I don't have anyone in this room. But when I am speaking into the camera, I am actually imagining that you're sitting in front of me. You're nodding your head, you're smiling. Okay, you're trying to say something. So, meeting eye to eye. Listening does not mean like, looking somewhere and trying and talking. And somebody is listening when somebody is talking to us also. When you are just listening somewhere, they are not going to be very happy. So eyes are an important component of listening. Only then, when you're trying to master spoken English, you will be able to see the lip movement. And you will also understand the difference between fought and father. So father is going to be fa, but then the past tense of fight, fought, is going to be fought. You can see the lip movement. So for spoken English, definitely you have to look into the screen. Undivided attention. This I don't have to say. It is only 1 hour program. So I am believing that all of you are giving me undivided attention. And also the heart, right? You can tell me now, what madam, you said ears, eyes, all that is okay. Attention also okay, we'll give you. But where is this heart? Why is this heart here? Heart is there because we need that motivation. We need that trust and belief in ourselves. Okay? You have to empathize. I keep using this word empathizing a lot because whenever you're speaking or listening to anyone, you have to empathize with their context, their situation. Okay? So always remember this picture. Whenever you're listening, it is important that you are giving your ears, eyes, undivided attention, and also putting your heart into the listening process. Moving ahead. Now you can tell me, madam, everything is okay. Yes, we are giving our ears, our eyes, and our undivided attention. But sometimes you speak so fast, I am not able to follow you. This is a common complaint we get during the initial years of our teaching. The pace. Pace refers to the speed or the rate of our speech, the number of words that we are speaking in 1 minute. Pace is very important. Sometimes we can have difficulties in following the pace, but these days technology has helped us so much, and you can see how we can reduce the pace and we will be able to listen. And what is the biggest challenge with listening? It is uttered only once. During listening tests, our students will say, "Madam, can you please play it one more time? Can you replay that?" But we will say, no, a word said is a word said. An utterance is an utterance. It cannot be repeated. Of course, these days we repeat, but then if you have lost the utterance, it is difficult. And then accents can be a problem. Accents can be difficult for some of us to follow. Now, say for example, you can see how I am speaking in a well-paced manner. I am not rushing or dragging, but of course, sometimes because of technology, my voice gets dragged. And then when you are trying to say something, when you want the other person to listen, you have to utter it more than once. Accents. We have so many accents. I am not talking about the British and American accent. I am also talking about the accents within India. So within India, India is a rich country with diverse languages. And so all these languages have their influence on the target language, that is English. So we should also get customized to these accents. Okay, these can be general difficulties, I understand, but we will see what strategies will be useful in overcoming these difficulties. So listening as input for speaking. How can we have listening as input for speaking? We are moving to the next section. All of you know about LSRW. Dr. Monishita would have spoken to you about the pedagogy, the skill-based pedagogy when it comes to learning and teaching English. So in LSRW, the first thing that comes is listening. As soon as we are born, we are only expected to listen. We listen to everything around us. We listen to our mother's voice. We get introduced to so many sounds. And after that, we try and speak. And after that, we read. And after that, we write. But sometimes in the learning of the second language, there is a confusion of these processes. Okay, we ask our children to read first, even before they could speak or listen. So listening comes first. Even if you're going to try and teach somebody English, focus more on creating listening opportunities. As you create these opportunities for listening, other inputs would automatically happen. The child would be able to speak and then reading and then writing. In our case, we have mastered to some level reading and writing, and we are doing it in a cyclical manner. Okay. So always remember, listening comes first. These are certain things that you already know. Language skills, you have receptive and productive skills. So listening is a receptive skill. You receive listening. Reading is also a very receptive skill. Whereas speaking and writing are productive skills. You produce output. Always remember the input and output difference. Input is listening and reading. Whereas when it comes to output, we have speaking and writing. There are also very important sub-skills, namely grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and the non-verbal. So if I say I have skills in one language, I should have mastered all these skills. Now say for example, when we learn Japanese, the first thing they teach us is how to bow. Okay, how to take a bow. So now if you see, non-verbal communication is also important. They actually teach you how Men keep their hands like this, or women, they keep it in a different way when they are trying to greet somebody. Only then they teach us the word for hello. They don't teach us the words and then not the body language. That is why we should also understand the body language that comes along with certain language skills. So I hope all of you will agree with me that listening is the natural precursor to speaking. What do I mean by the word precursor? Precursor refers to something that comes before, right? What comes before exams? Model exams. What comes before you start writing an exam? Preparation. What comes before a performance? Rehearsal. Without rehearsal, a performance cannot be successful. Similarly, listening is the natural precursor to speaking. We have to keep this in mind. If you are not going to listen actively to all the lectures or all the activities that are going to follow in the coming webinars, then speaking will be very doubtful. You will say that it was not effective, I was not able to understand. So let us try and fine-tune our ears for the listening process. Let us go into the strategies for listening. So I receive lots of messages and mails. Many of them keep asking, how do I improve my spoken skills? How do I try and speak fluently? Can you please recommend some grammar books? Can you please give me the names of dictionaries or YouTube channels? So I keep answering whenever I can. But mostly if you see, all the answers are in these webinars. If you go and listen actively, you will be able to find the answers. So let me see what is the first strategy for listening. You can try and follow a TV series. TV series as in not in any channel, but these days all of us have Amazon Prime, we have Netflix, we have YouTube through which you're watching all these webinars also. So there are also chosen TV series or web series that are focusing on learning English as a spoken language. There are many. If you explore, you will come up with many titles. But then there are certain titles that I would like to highlight. So here you can see there is one which is called Mind Your Language. Okay. Now, Mind Your Language it comes from a previous generation. It's a very, funny kind of a series. It's a sitcom where you can see there is a master who is sitting there with a red tie who you can see on the screen. And there are other teachers. His classroom consists of people from all around the globe. Imagine the amount of accents and confusion that can take place in such a classroom. So you can see there is a Chinese person, Japanese, Spain, French. There is also an Indian, right? So many people are there in the class. And they all try to learn the sounds of English, the spoken skills. But then there is one thing that you should always keep in mind when you're watching these series. What is it? How do you watch it and listen to it voluntarily, intentionally, actively? That is why I have given you some strategies on the left. Let us see what the strategies are. Most of these episodes are of 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I would always say, watch with subtitles once. Of course, in YouTube, you get subtitles, so that should not be a problem. Then, you should turn off the subtitles and simply listen. Okay? You should simply listen to what they are saying, look at their lip movements. Sometimes reversing the process also helps. That is, without subtitles, you watch and listen very keenly because you want to follow the story. You want to understand what they are saying, so you are guessing. Maybe he is saying this word. Maybe she is uttering this phrase. A lot of guessing is happening inside the head. And then you watch with the subtitles. And then you see, oh, I was correct. she was saying this word. Then you can see, no, I was wrong. He was trying to use this word. So use this particular strategy. Most of us will say, I watched this series, I watched that web series, that TV series I watched, my English improved. Then you will say, I also watched all these series, but then my English didn't improve, my language didn't improve. I'll tell you the reason. The reason is they did not follow the strategy that was given on the left, right? So what should you do? You should watch with subtitles once, and then you should turn off the subtitles and listen carefully so that the sounds are assimilated, and then you can also reverse the process. You seriously, you sit and try these things, your listening skills will improve. Your language skills also will improve. The sounds will get very familiar. You'll become very familiar with the sounds. So try and, follow this sometime. Okay, now I've taken a clip for you from this particular series, which I want to share. Let us see how successful we are in sharing that. Are you able to see the video? Ishmael sir,
Yes,
is the video
ma'am.
come?
Yes.
Okay, I'll play it.
Yes, please.
Vowels in the alphabet: A, E, I, O, and U. Good. Now, firstly, we'll take the letter A. Now, this can be pronounced in three different ways. It can be A, or R.
Excuse me,
Yes, Max.
I'm not understanding. How can A be a R?
It's not the letter R, it's sometimes pronounced R.
Panayama, what language?
It's all right, I'll give you some examples. Let's take the word F-A-T. Now that has a flat A sound. Good. But if we add an E to the end of fat, then what do we have?
Fatty.
No, Giovanni, fate. Now, does anybody know what fate means?
Por favor.
Yes, Juan.
Two fate.
Two fate?
Si, senor. One right fate, one left fate.
No, Juan, those are feet.
Perdón.
Right, moving on to the E. Now, the letter E is usually pronounced E, as in bet, set, get. There are, of course, exceptions to the rule. For example, F-E-T-E is also pronounced fate.
Si, senor. One right fate, one left fate.
No, Juan.
No? Perdón.
Our feet, I told you before.
It's all right, it's all right.
Right, moving on to the letter I. This is usually pronounced I or I. Good. Now, can anybody give me an example of the I? Well, how would you pronounce F-I-T?
Feet. Si, senor. One right feet, one left feet.
So I understand that, the video was not clear, but then you can always watch it on YouTube. It is available. All the episodes are available. So moving on, when you are going to watch these kind of web series, it's a very funny, it's a comical kind of a web series which you can try and watch whenever you have the time, because there are some sounds that are produced. we think only as Indians we have some problems with pronunciation, but you can also see how people from various other countries, how they confuse their pronunciation and what are the other problems they have in pronunciation also. So please follow this particular strategy. There is no use watching any number of web series or TV series without using strategies if you are focusing on spoken English. Okay, so let us move on to the next slide. Yes, listening to and watching movies. Now, again, most of you in Andhra Pradesh, we have seen this movie during our first trainings. I still remember the amount of discussions we had following this kind of movie. So for those of you who don't know the movie's name, it is My Fair Lady. So in this particular movie, it's a movie about the language English. It is from George Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion, the play. Here, what happens is movies can offer us a variety of sounds. There are so many movies. Even Indian English movies are very good to watch. Coming to the TV series, there is a very good TV series on Rabindranath Tagore's plays. Okay, the entire series is also in English. So you can also try and watch that for those of you who are fans of Rabindranath Tagore. So now movies also, if you see, there are lots of sounds, intonations, some short sentences are used which you can try and follow. So I will stop sharing my screen. Can I request Ishmael Garu to play
Yes,
that?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Switch on the captions also, sir. Switch on the captions also.
All right, Eliza, say it again.
They ran.
Yes.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now you have seen in this, yes, sir. So now you have seen in this video how he says, can't you hear? He is Professor Higgins, who is a linguist, and he studies how people speak, their pronunciation. You would have also noticed how he says, you will have to repeat it 50 times. Okay? So sometimes to catch the correct pronunciation of the word, we will have to speak it and understand it. So now, sir, can I request you to stop sharing your screen?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ishmael, for being with. Now this particular movie is also available on YouTube, and then lots of clippings are also there. So I request you to please go back and watch. That is why I am not showing you the full video, because we are also running out of time and technical issues. So I want you to identify the kind of rhythm this particular movie brings out, right? And once we start listening to all these nuances means very small details. Don't tell me that, madam, this is British accent, we want only Indian accent. All said and done, someday we have to speak English, fluently, and for that we will have to learn various strategies. Okay, so this is one strategy that you can use. Now, another strategy that I have found it extremely useful, whether it is my college students or others who come and tell me, madam, can you please help me out with my spoken English, is I tell them to record and listen. So these are some talks that are available on the internet. This is a TED talk, Technology, Education and Design. You would have heard about it, entertainment and design. So now if you look at the TED talks, these TED talks have very short duration, 15 minutes, 12 minutes talk, or you can also select the first 4 minutes or 5 minutes. You listen to it first, you download the transcript. The transcript is also available. You know, the transcript means the words and the sentences that they are speaking. You read it aloud and record. You read from the paper and you record. Then you listen and compare. So I said this word like this. How was this word said? I said the word as language, but this word is being pronounced as language. I said message, but then this word is said as message. When you are comparing, you know, please take this entire month as a gift from God for us to focus more on our spoken English skills. When you try and focus it that way, it becomes a very fruitful effort. So you are going to listen to a short talk. I don't want you to, you know, talk for 10 to 15 minutes continuously. Listen to a very short talk. There are lots of Indian talks also. TED Talks, Ink Talks, INK. You can listen to it, take the transcript, first 2 paragraphs or first 3 paragraphs. You read it, record, and then you compare. Okay, so this is one of my favorite TED Talks. You can see Professor Sugata Mitra there. So he is trying to explain his hole in the wall experiment. Now, as teachers who are using ICT, I well remember Dr. Purnima spoke to you about the hole in the wall experiment by Professor Sugata Mitra. So connect all these things. And this is how you record and listen whenever you have the time, if you want to improve your spoken English. Now comes your favorite. I know all teachers love this. Listening and singing. This also is a classical movie in the sense that this movie has been dubbed many languages. You know, in Indian language, this movie is there in Tamil also. I have watched. I don't know, it will be there in Telugu also. It's a very nice movie where lady comes to take care of children and how she makes their lives comfortable through teaching music to them. So there are so many songs in this particular movie. You can choose a song, not just this song. You know, the children of our houses these days, they are listening to so many English songs. They are listening to Justin Bieber, Alan Walker, you know, all the names that we don't know. We are comfortable with Michael Jackson and the Beatles or the Backstreet Boys. But then these days, there are so many songs that have come up. Of course, we will go to our old songs and enjoy them. So you can write down the lyrics, listen many times and practice. See, one advantage of learning through songs is not only you, but your children also. I mean, your learners in the classrooms also can practice along with you. The more and more you expand your vocabulary, the range of your vocabulary, it is going to become extremely helpful. Okay, so what I've got here again is the lyrics of this particular song. I request you to download it at some time. I do have the audio with me now, but then I want you to download it and practice it to some level. And you can also sing it along with your family. It's a very nice song. Whenever you're feeling bad, what happens, and look at all the words. You will learn all these new words also. Okay, so this is how you can use songs in order to practice spoken skills. Again, most of us have the habit of following a YouTube channel. I know many Andhra Pradesh teachers have several channels where you are transcribing our lectures from English, you're translating it into your mother tongue, and you're explaining it. I think that is one of the very commendable strategies, because it would be very helpful for them to listen to your lectures, then go back to these lectures and also understand. One thing is, you will have to watch them repeatedly. There are many YouTube channels. I'm not advertising or recommending anything, but then this particular this particular channel, I have used it with my learners also, and it is quite effective. So you have to listen to these episodes because they make it with the mindset of an open group. They are not targeting it for Australian learners or American learners. They know that these channels are watched by every corner of the world. So when you listen to it, it's very useful. Now, many of them, they keep asking, ma'am, but then they speak very fast. Though I have the subtitles, I am not able to follow. So in YouTube, when you go to the settings section, there is something called the playback speed. The normal speed is what they will speak in, but then there is also an option, as you can see, to reduce the pace. By this way, you can adjust the speed of the audio and you can listen to them comfortably. Of course, even my particular webinar, this one, if you are not able to grab all the ideas, I hope I'm speaking in a very low pace or appropriate pace. But if you are not able to understand that, you can always use this option in the settings and you can listen to it. Now, in the 21st century, with all of us having smartphones, podcasts and audiobooks are becoming a big hit. What do I mean by podcast? A podcast is nothing but like broadcast. It is a very small audio recording, and they choose one topic and they will speak on that topic. There are several podcasts. This is just one example. Now, in this particular podcast, there are so many audios, small audios that you can listen to. They take one word and they analyze that word. And all this is in Indian English. It is not in American English or Australian English or British English. It's in Indian English. So you can listen to clear voice and pronunciation if you wear your headsets. You have to listen over and over. And sometimes you also have to repeat after if it is necessary. So here, I am trying to look at some minimal pairs because we have spoken about in length about listening, active listening, and other things. Here are two words. You can see very clearly in these two words, there is sleep and slipped. Now, let me try and pronounce one word. Let me see. You have to mentally guess. This is some kind of telepathic communication, okay? All the teachers of Andhra Pradesh. I will say one word. Let me see whether you are actively listening. Right. Slipped. Slipped. So you got it as slipped. Sleep. Sleep. Okay? So there is the difference between the sounds. Similarly, walk, walk, work, work. So you have these minimal pairs which we have to focus attention on. Now again, if you look at the word can and can't, most of us will be a little confused. Can or can't. And there are several pronunciations, right? And it becomes a little confusing when it is in a sentence. I can't do it. Now, what happens in a sentence like I can't do it? The T and the D sound, they merge together, right? Merge together, and you're still wondering whether it is can or can't. Please understand that I can do it is a much shorter sound than I can't do it. Okay, so these are all certain very short sentences I'm trying to tell you so that you will be gearing up yourself for active listening practices. Now, a very important aspect in listening is connected speech. What is this connected speech? I told you how in I can't do it, the T and the D gets merged. When words connect, the sound changes. Let us see how the sound changes. Drop it. We can't say drop it. We will be saying drop it. So we have to go by the sounds, phonemes. It becomes drop it. This is called connected speech. When you are saying, say it again. Say it again. Say it again. It becomes a sound like YIT, right? So all these features are also important for us to understand when we want to actively listen. Look at this sentence. When you are going to say read a book, it becomes like this. Another example, turn on the light. Turn on the light. You can't say turn on the light. You will be saying turn on the light. This is how you develop fluency. Connected speech helps us in developing fluency. So I'm not telling you that these are things you should remember every time when you open your mouth. You know it once, you internalize it, and then it is going to stay with us forever. Okay? So that is the end of the presentation today. So does anyone have any question? Ready to answer. Thank you, Ishmael sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for good presentation. You can stop sharing the. Sir, I have many questions, ma'am. First question, D. Jaikumar from Bhimali, Vishakhapatnam. He's asking that what are the barriers of effective listening?
Okay.
And another question I have, let me ask to both once again. Any listening assessment tool is there to measure listening skills in primary school children? These are the two questions.
Listening assessment. Okay. I will try and answer the first question, which is barriers of effective listening skills. So first of all, when we try to listen, like I enumerated 3 difficulties that we usually face when we are trying to listen, like say for example, the pace, and because it is uttered only once and because it is also, accent wise, it's very different. So these can be the challenges or the barriers to listening. Sometimes attitude can also be a problem. I will tell you why. So say for example, you meet a foreigner. You decide that you're not going to understand their English. When you're going to, some places, some tourist destinations in Andhra Pradesh, say you're going to Araku Valley or, Lumbasinghi, you see so many foreigners. Now say if they are going to come and speak to you, you decide in your head, no, whatever he is going to tell me, I will not understand, I will run away from this place. So attitude becomes a problem. There, though you want to help, this attitude is stopping you from helping. Okay, so attitude also can be a barrier to effective listening apart from accent or the words that we speak. Thank you, Jayakumar Garu, for asking that question. Coming to the next question. Is there any listening assessment tool for primary learners? Okay. When it comes to primary learners, I think the focus is more on the basic sounds. What we can do is, again, I will try and explore and I will tell you, but what comes to my mind now, which will work best in the classroom, I think, is to use groups of students and do some kind of peer assessment. The teacher has already produced the sound, the teacher has given the voice recording or some audio has been played, some standard audio that has been played. Children can be asked, there are a lot of activities called information gap activities. Please, if you can browse the internet, you will get a lot of assessment tools. Information gap activities. Create small sentences in which one sentence is, one word is missing in this person's sheet and when the other person has a sheet. Okay, if you look up about information gap activities, that can be used as a very good assessment tool for the primary level classroom.
Thank you very much, madam. There is another question asked by 2 viewers. One is Munigoti Srinivasa Sarma as well as Venkata Surya Narayana Sanghani. Okay. Madam Garu, which accent is fit for our primary rural school children's, British or American?
not British, not American. I think Indian accent is enough. A very neutral kind of an accent where clarity is given importance. A clear accent and intelligible accent. That is very important when it comes to primary learners. Of course, primary learners are also going to be exposed to different accents when they are going to watch videos, when they are also exposed to other storytelling in other diverse accents. If you look at our webinar series itself, we are all from different parts of India. I am from a southern part of Andhra Pradesh, I am coming from a different state, which is south of Andhra Pradesh. Monishita and, Ipshita, they were coming from a different part of the country. So as you can see, we will have little accent differences. But what we are trying to do best is to reach all Andhra teachers through a very neutral accent. But when we speak with an American or when we speak with a British professor, we will speak in a little modified manner. But definitely when I go to a primary classroom, I will not try all that. I will speak in a very clear, intelligible pronunciation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. Thanks for nice answer.
Another question here. Pushpas from Prakasam. So, how does accent differ from dialect? First
That's
question.
a nice question.
And the second question was, how could English became so popular in the world, though it's originated from tribes like Angles and Saxons and Jutes? Questions raised.
Yes. I'll try and answer the first question first. What is the difference between accent and dialect? Now, dialects are variations of one particular language where the vocabulary is also different. Now, say for example, I live in Chennai, right? But then my family members, most of us, they also come from different parts of Tamil Nadu. You would have heard the names Kanyakumari, Nagarkoil, Tirunelveli. When I go there, for various functions or family visits when we do, it is very difficult for me to understand their Tamil. Not because they speak in a totally different way, but the dialect of Tamil is very different. I think it is also true with you. When I come to, Vijayawada, the Telugu is a little different. When I speak with somebody from Srikakulam, that sound is a little different. Godavari and West Godavari. So I once was speaking to a teacher. I think his name is Srinivas Garu. There are so many Srinivas that I know from Andhra Pradesh. He was coming from a tribal school in Srikakulam. When he was speaking, in Telugu with me, I had some difficulty. I told him, I don't know, I'm finding some kind of difficulty because my comprehension level is fair enough. Averagely, I kind of understand. I can't read though, because many of them are also sending me messages in Telugu. I keep telling them I don't understand. Please tell it in English. So that is the difference between dialect and accent. Dialect has vocabulary, different words, but accent is only the sound. And the second question that they were asking was, sir, which one was that?
Yeah, actually, how the English became so popular, though it comes from
the history of English. Yes. How did English become very popular? Now, say for example, when we read language, all of us know that English is a kind of an Indo-European language having Germanic roots. And we also know that Angles, Celts, these are all the tribal groups which were speaking that particular language. Now, for a language to become powerful, there are so many reasons. Culture, politics, industry, right? These are all some of the reasons. The industrialization, the colonization that happened, the British imperialism that happened. These are all the important reasons for English becoming such a dominant language. And now with internet, when everybody wants to understand everyone, again, we are, due to globalization also, English has become a very common language. You should read David Crystal's books. He talks about all these issues. David Crystal.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much, madam. Srinivas sir, any questions from your side? Madam, I will consolidate two questions asked by Babaddin Khan Anantpuram as well as Uday Kiranalu. The question is strategies for primary school children's, the listening strategies for primary school children, and then how can we include the habit of good listening in rural students?
Okay. So now my presentation today was focusing on certain active listening strategies for spoken English for this particular webinar series. What are some of the things that we as adults can do in order to improve our own spoken English skills? When it comes to primary learners, there is a set of, a completely different set of listening skills and strategies that we have to adopt. Of course, in the previous trainings, we have focused so much on phonics. I request all the teachers to go back to the phonics video, I think, which Dr. Purnima had offered, because I remember she had so many strategies that she had discussed about teaching listening skills to primary learners.
Thank you very much, madam.
Right.
Thank you.
Srinivas sir?
Yeah, one more question, ma'am. What tips can you suggest for active listening for primary school children?
Okay, same question.
Same question.
I think children are more like sponges. When we pronounce correctly, they will absorb it. In my first day presentation, I used a quotation saying, children are great imitators. So let us give them something great to imitate. So that is one strategy, imitation. They use a lot of imitation. They imitate teachers very well, the accents and how we speak in Telugu or how we scold them. So, you can try and use imitation strategies, phonics for primary learners.
Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sridhar Samudrala, in general talks in movies or plays would be the colloquial. Can you take their pronunciation as standard one?
Okay, that's a good question. Pronunciation as being colloquial. Now, what happens is you get a diverse range of ideas. If you had seen the movie Drishyam, I think it was, Venkat had acted in that movie. Venkatesh Garu had acted in that movie. He watches lots of movies, okay? And that is how he gets that mastermind he gets. So we can't say that by watching only one movie, he got that mindset. So this colloquial expression will be there maybe in a few movies, not in all the movies. Everybody will pronounce differently. Now, the movie that I showed you, My Fair Lady, in that Professor Higgins is a language professor. He is a linguist specialist. Because he is a specialist in linguistics, his pronunciation is impeccable. Okay, so you watch to a diverse range of pronunciation. It is, you will escape from this danger of colloquial pronunciation.
Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for nice presentation. The topic really very impressive. Active listening for better spoken English, really. Teachers of Andhra Pradesh will take this knowledge and make use of this, and they will practice, keep on all these points. Thank you very much for strengthening us.
Yes.
And then we'll wait on June 1st, we'll join for another fresh topic, Phonics Part 1 by Professor Jairaj Garu, IFLU, Hyderabad.
I would like to say something now. So we have with us a specialist in phonetics, Professor Jairaj from IFLU, Hyderabad. I want all the teachers not to miss that particular session, listen very carefully, because phonetics is something that can be of great help if you want to definitely improve the sound, the way that you are sounding. So all of you must definitely watch and benefit from that particular session. Of course, all the sessions are useful, so don't ask me, madam, so can we skip your session? But phonetics is the basic. That is why we are starting with phonetics. Like I told you, everything is planned. Listening, we finished. We are starting with phonetics. If you miss that particular session, the coming sessions will be little confusing. That's why. Thank you, Ishmael sir.
Thank you very much, madam. Thanks for nice presentation. So I request viewers to share the videos, subscribe our channel for get notifications. Thank you very much. Thank you one and all. We'll meet. So, thank you.